This is the MMA Takes Podcast. With your host, Brian Petrie.
Yes, sir. What's up, bub? Listen. What's up with the what's up? And you're probably wondering, BP, why is this coming so late? You told us you're getting it early. You're right. I apologize. This week's been a little nuts. My grandfather's funeral's tomorrow. We get to lay that beautiful man to rest. No excuses. Fell behind this week. But usually pay-per-view weeks I do on Thursday. I do live, and I do it with my boys. So today's Thursday. You can probably already tell it's not live. And I got no boys. Where my boys at? So life gets in the way. Timbo, I don't even know this. Okay. This is just between me and you, right? I think Timbo, he works in the government. I think he might be a super spy. Tim Mitchell is what he tells me his name is, right? I don't believe it. His name is probably like Sergio Bontarine or something very sexy or something like that. He's out there killing the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Shadow Zoolander. This guy had to travel for work, couldn't do it. I know it's killing him because not only is he the champ, great gambler, so we're going to miss him on the show, but also he's a 209, my eyes are bugging out. He's a 209 leader. He's a Nate Diaz follower. You might not like what I say in the main event, but it's killing him for him not to be here. And then I was like, you know what? Fine. I'll run 1v1 versus CC. Me and Christian get the interim title, the interim strap. We'll run it 1v1. He's in Ireland. He's in Ireland. And, Conor McGregor personally invited him to his yacht because of the reputation he laid out in the Denver area. That was a fucking burn. And there's nothing better than explaining a joke. So let me explain it to you. Christian, who is a heterosexual man who's married to a wonderful woman named Molly, I'm saying he has a reputation of sucking dick in the Denver area. Connor, who likes getting blowjobs on his yacht and then filming it, invited him out there. Boom, boom, boom. Joke. Layered. That's a 7-layer dip joke. You just got, take your time to laugh with it. Take your time to laugh with it. But I fucking got him. I got the son of a bitch. It was a good one. Okay, it was a good one. Give me credit. Yeah, it was good. All right, listen. So we got the picks. We got to pick some fights here. So you got Solo. You got your boy Solo. It is what it is. Did I want to address something at top? So I didn't do a Wednesday takes. I apologize. We got it crazy. I think I'm going to not do Wednesday takes on the pay-per-view weeks. I had a really good outline show for Wednesday takes. I had some betting breakdowns of my numbers, which I guess we'll just save for next week. I was going to maybe do that at the top of the show. Let's just get into the fights. I'll do that next week for Wednesday takes. I'm definitely doing Wednesday takes next week. We'll recap, obviously, UFC 279, whatever goes down. It's, a lot of shit going down, a lot of talking. So we'll recap that, and we'll get into some of the stuff I had planned for this Wednesday that I was unfortunately not able to do. So am I missing something? Nah. Let's get into the motherfucking fight. So the card is it is what it is, right? It is what it is. They've tried to beef it up. I appreciate that because they were selling it just for the main event, and they have since tried to beef it up, which I respect. But it's there's some interesting fights. Obviously, I'm curious about some of these talent, but it's a little on the thinner side. Before we start gambling, okay, before we start talking numbers and picks and this and that, I don't have my slime ball ready yet, okay? It's not ready yet. And I've never had this before. Sometimes I just absolutely forget to show it on the show or mention it because I'm a complete fucking idiot. This time is a conscious effort not to release it. I'm going to do that tomorrow on my socials. Follow me on MMA Takes Podcast on Instagram. I'm trying to be more active on that. And Brian Petrie MMA on YouTube, or excuse me, YouTube. What? MMA Takes Podcast on YouTube where you're watching this. Brian Petrie MMA on Twitter. Hit the comments. Should I change my Instagram name to Brian Petrie MMA as well? Should I just be across the board? I hate to bury the fact that, because I didn't want to change it to everywhere because I didn't want to be like, I wanted to let people know, a lot of people from the Anakin Florian think I just started this show. Right? I got my appearance on Anakin Florian. I'm like Florian's cousin or something. And then I started this show. I've been doing this since 2018. 2017 was the website started. So I've been doing this a bit, right? That's how they found me. Or John and Cody found me. So I didn't want to like bury that I'm a host of MMA Takes. That's why I still had it around. I switched my MMA to Brian Peach MMA. John and I had a talk. He's like, listen, more people would be accepting to follow you, a person, instead of an account. Obviously, I run MMA Takes podcast, but hit up the comments. I want to know what you guys think. Should I change my handle to MMA or Brian Peach MMA on Instagram as well? Because I can do that. I'll be getting a lot of followers on my personal account, which is fine. You're more than welcome to follow that, but you're just going to see a bunch of my fathead children, you know, my little fat, cute, fathead children, my little daughter. So you're just going to see them, which is more than happy. But if you're looking for MMA content, it'll be on the other one. So I think I'm confusing people. I know in the Anakin Flooring, when I come up, it still says MMA Takes Podcast. And I'm way more active on Twitter. So just tell me what you think. Tell me what to do. Let's get to this fight here. Darian Weeks versus Johan Lanesi. I think I fucking nailed that name. Short, small line here. Minus 125 versus plus 105. So Johan came in the UFC. This guy, Cottonmouth. This guy was knocking everyone out, right? Knocking everyone out, knocking them around. UFC debut, did the same, but completely gassed.
It ain't got no gas in it.
Ain't got no gas in it. Yeah, he's like, ain't got no gas in it. Darian Weeks, came in the UFC. I believe he was undefeated, came in the UFC, like had some boxing history or whatever. No, I think he had a loss, right? Yeah, no, man, that was back in the amateur. Yeah, so he came in the UFC undefeated. Fought Brian Barberina and fought Ian Gary, which are two pretty fucking high-level guys, if you ask me. So he came in the UFC a little on the fire. No, Brian Barberina's a little bit older, but still tough out. He looked really bad in the Barberina fight. He looked pretty tough in the Gary fight. Gary had him rocked a little bit, but he's a small favorite here, and I can understand why. I think he's been in their fire. He's been in there with some durable dudes. But you got Johan here. He's 30 years old who looks 50, right? I'm 6 years older than this guy on the right. I mean, look at his fucking forehead. Okay, I don't want to insult the guy. Came to the UFC, fought Gabe Green, hit Gabe Green with pretty much everything in that first round. Couldn't get him out of there. Ran out of gas. Ain't no gas in it. Collapsed in the second round, and that's what he is. He's been in a decision before. He's got some decent wrestling. He's got the ways to mix it up. This guy's better come out. This guy's better comes out. Seems like I'm feeling. This guy better come out and fucking and know that he's gonna fight. Know that he has good cardio. This is the UFC. This isn't fucking the Contender Series. This isn't CFFC, which is a great organization. This is the UFC. This is the show, babe. This is the show. I'm picking him at the plus number. It's gonna be a very competitive fight. I'm not hanging my hat to it, but I am gonna have him send him home as well, because I need some extra bang on my buck. I had a winning week last week, which I was going to talk on what it takes. I kind of glossed over that. 0.87 units, which turns out to be $87, so I'm up. So the ice is getting chipped. It's getting chipped a little bit. It's getting shaped into the hunk that I am, babe. But we're still a little icy. Still need to back to been winning nights. I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, how can he win? He can win by knockout. Darian Weeks never been knocked out. Does have a good chin. Is taking some good shots. But this kid hits hard. He's so I gotta take a shot. The plus number by knockout's gonna be a little interesting as well. But we're gonna start tonight with the dog. That's what we do around here, baby. Dog shots all day. So yeah, give me Johan Lanesi, and I know I fucking crushed his name, so you don't have to say it. Next up, we got Elise Reed versus Melissa Martinez. This line confused me a little bit. Melissa Martinez making her UFC debut. She's undefeated. She's from Mexico, and she has an impressive record. But you look at some of the women she fought. Okay, so she fought 3-2, 3-2, 0-1, 3-2, 3-2. This girl only fight 3-2 fighters, and her last win on Cabatas was against Desiree Yanez, who's 5-1 decision split. It was a very close fight. That's the fight I saw of hers. She's tough. She's scrappy. She does have some good striking. She's aggressive. She's a little undersized. She's powerful though, and she can put some nice little pace. And Elise Reed has some interesting striking. She has some interesting striking, and I've backed her in a lot of these fights. I backed her in the Cesar Eubanks fight, first round. Obviously, I didn't go with her in the Corey McKenna fight, which is a very close fight, which she squeaked out a split decision. But then I went against her in the Sam Hughes fight. And slam pace looked great. Elise Reed had a good first round, and then slowed down, ran out of gas. Ain't no gas in it. This is a tough one, UFC debutante coming in, minus 165 number. This seems like a trap spot. This seems like a spot that I wouldn't play. Again, I've said it a million times, women's MMA is my Achilles heel. I don't have the best read on this fight. I don't have the best read for Elise Reed on this fight. So, oh man, that's just wordplay. So I'm going to go with Melissa Martinez against my better judgment. I do think she's just a little meaner, a little more aggressive in there. She does have power. And I think she can get it done. I think she's going to win a decision here. Elise Reed's wrestling is non-existent. Unfortunately, her striking is unique. And if this plays on the feet, she can make it interesting, right? I like her side kicks. I like her karate-esque style. And then her punches come at awkward angles, and that could really mess somebody up. But, Melissa Martinez is just a grinder. She's aggressive in there. So I'm gonna have to lean that, even though usually I go chalk when it comes to the females. All right, fight 3 here. This is actually a pretty good fight. This is a fight that people probably don't really, I shouldn't say that. I'm not gonna act like I know everything about these guys. I'm not gonna be all high and mighty, talk down to my casual brothers. Chad I fucking practice too. Chad Anhigler. Chad Anhigler? There he is. Canadian brother. Canadian boy. He's coming in here fighting Haile Ongtong, and Chad Anhigler plus 145. Haile Ongtong minus 170. That plus is cut off on the screen there. It's driving me nuts. Let me move it back. Oh, there you go. The magic of editing. Look at that. Slid it over. Listen, this is a banger of a fight. I think the line's a little off here. In my opinion, I think Haile Ongtong has fought more in the UFC. He's fought better competition. He's been around a while. He's a big, strong guy. He's pretty well-rounded, but he has fallen short a few times in there. And Chad Anhigler, I'm going to try to say his name real quick. John, go back to the Anik and Florian this past Monday. John Anik called me out on that. He's like, when I can't say a name, I say it quick. It was fucking perfect, because that's exactly what I do. Chad Anhigler. And then you guys can't catch. He's like, what do you say? And I'm already moving on to the next topic. Chad's good. Chad started his MMA career a little rocky. Look good in the Contender Series. Look good in his UFC debut. This guy can wrestle. He's got good striking. He's got good cardio. He moves really awkward and independently in there. Kind of looks like him too. Kind of reminds me of a little bit, not as loose and maybe not as independent with everything, but he kind of reminds me of a little bit of Lando, the way he moves. Doesn't have the flashy kicks, does have some good kicks. So Haile Ongtong, though, is just kind of a straightforward power fight. He's going to try to stop your takedowns. This is an interesting fight here, and when you're giving me plus 145, and listen, there's a lot of big, beefy dogs on this card, and I don't know if I'm going to take any shots of those. Stay tuned. So you got to take dog shots somewhere, and I'm going to go with Chad here. And
Hello?
It's just, hello,
Hey,
this is Dog. You see Dog the Bounty Hunter flying up over Chad there. He's got his back. That's the dog stamp right there. I'm going Chad Anhigler here. I think he's going to win by decision. I think he's fast. I think he moves well. I think Haile Ongtong's going to be a little confused by the foot movement and a little bit of the head movement. It's going to be hard to track this guy down. But if he lands, it's going to be a problem for Chad. And I think Chad just needs to use his overall game, mix everything up. Don't be a striker. Don't be a grappler. Mix everything up and really just mix everything up. How many times can I say mix everything up? Can I say it again? Jesus, Brian. Get it together. I think Chad is everything makes matchups. Matchups make sense, and this makes sense for him, so I'm going to go dog. Don't make me explain why I'm taking a dog. Just don't do it. I know this is a podcast. It's a pick'em podcast. I'm explaining to you why I'm taking a dog. But when I don't have a good enough reason besides the line's good, I should just say that. But that's not what I do. That's not what I do. Fight 4 here. Norma Dumont minus 410 versus there's another one that's a little crooked. Versus Danielle Wolf plus 330. All right. Strong take coming. Incoming strong take. Danielle Wolf's going to get absolutely mowed through it. I just don't think she's UFC ready. I know she came from the boxing world, had a little bit of name in the boxing, fought in the Contender Series against, someone that they wanted her to win. She didn't look overly impressive, in my opinion. She's only 1-0 in MMA. Norma Dumont is a tank. I understand this number, minus 410. Obviously, if Dumont stands up Danielle Wolf, it's going to be a problem. Wolf is in good shape. I'm sure she's taking some time off and working on a takedown defense, but MMA, when you get in there with a complete MMA fighter like Norma Dumont, who can strike, who is an awkward striker, who is powerful, who can take you down, who can submit you, can pound you on the ground, I think this is just a walk in the park right here. This was almost my mortal lock, but I decided not to do it because she's a little bit high at minus 410. And again, me giving out a women's MMA mortal lock is like Ariel Helwani giving out how to pick up chicks advice. It just doesn't make sense, babe. That's a shot at Helwani. I'm sorry. It makes sense. Who am I? I can't pick a winner in women's MMA. I'm not giving you out locks, but I feel like she's going to run through Danielle Wolf here. Maybe I'm much underestimating Danielle Wolf. I just think 1-0 boxing experience with her age it's a huge uphill to climb, and I think Norma Dumont is a very good fighter. I think she's fought some really, really good females in there, and I just see this being a fucking massacre. So give me Norma Dumont for the dub. We're chalking up dubs today. I like this. I like this fight for Norma Dumont. I don't know why they gave Danielle Wolf such a. Maybe she asked for it. Maybe she's like, listen, time's a ticking. I need to fucking get in there. I need to go. So like, I'll go give Norma Dumont. Makes sense. 145. Listen, they need to build this division. Danielle Wolf does have a name outside of MMA. So it'd be interesting to see if she can do it. But I just don't see it. I see Norma Dumont just absolutely running through. We're sorry, Danielle Wolf. Now we got the big boys. Look at these gentlemen here on this screen. Just absolutely tanks. And I fit right in there I almost lifted up my shirt just to fit right in there with them. I couldn't do that though. I get way more than 1,000 subscribers. People be asking for an OnlyFans. I lived up this shirt. Fuck no. Listen, this fight, it's so being a bigger guy myself, I tend to really like heavyweight fights because, if I would ever fought, I probably would have been heavyweight, light heavyweight, whatever. But these guys, this is just not a really good high level heavyweight fight. Jake Collier, minus 410, Chris Barnett, plus 330. Chris Barnett, 5'8", 300 pounds most of his career. Now he's at the tail end of his career. He's in the UFC. Finally can make 265. Jake Collier, former middleweight, now comes in at like 266. Says like he cuts weight. Something's going on in his life. I don't know. But with that all being said, and me really bashing Jake Collier, he's actually looked pretty good in his past couple of times out. His debut at heavyweight, maybe it was his debut. Yeah, he got smoked by Tom Aspinall, but Tom Aspinall was a fucking G. So that's gonna happen. And then we got, then he comes in against, a couple other. God, just look at his record, man. I don't know. He's kind of like the darling for people. People underestimate him. So so Aspinall knocked him out. Then he fought John Vellante, pieced up Vellante, fat Vellante, lost a split decision to Carlos Felipe, which was total bullshit. I thought he won that fight. Beat to completely dog walk Chase Sherman, and then lost a close fight against Andre Arlovski. A lot of people thought he won. So even though he's a big boy, carrying a lot of weight, his cardio is held up. Chris Barnett has not won. He's won one fight in the UFC, wheel kicked John Vellante. Other than that, he's just looked pedestrian. The body's open, the head's open. I hate that Jake Collier is minus 410. I'm not going to play this. This is a low-level heavyweight fight. I don't have a super strong read on this, but this is a pick'em show. I got to give you picks. I'm going to give you Jake Collier. I just simply think that the boxing, the speed, he is fast, is going to be too much for Barnett. Barnett's even undersized to Jake Collier, who really is a middleweight. I know he fought at middleweight, maybe even a 205. He's definitely not a heavyweight. He carries a lot of body weight. And Chris Barnett, just, I know he's a great personality. He comes out fucking dancing, and the celebration after wheel kicking Vellante was fucking electric, but it's just not there anymore for him. So I'm going to go Collier, but he's not being considered in the slime ball. Let's just put it that way. He's not being considered in the slime ball. Next up, Jamie Pickett. I have a hard time spelling this guy's name, let alone fucking spelling it. I'm looking at the paper going, how many fucking U's and I's are in there? Jamie Pickett, minus 130 versus Dennis Tulilin, whatever. Plus 110. I'm never going to get that name, no matter how many times hard. This fight is just, it's dry, right? What's exciting about this fight? You know what I mean? Jamie Pickett, nice guy, comes from Wilmington, North Carolina, one of my favorite places in the world, but it's like, he's just not an action-packed fighter. And then you got Dennis making his UFC debut. Last time out, got knocked out in the second round. Jamie Pickett, what is he coming off of? Jamie Pickett is probably coming off a win, right? Nope. Kyle Dawkins, dart stroke, round one. For that, Joseph Holmes and Lawrence Sarpoli. So this is like the paint dry fight. This is just like, it's like watching paint dry with these guys. And I don't want to disrespect them. They don't have anything that jumps off the paper for me. That I don't think they're super explosive. And I think this is going to be a clinch fight. It's going to go to decision. Neither guy's going to knock anyone out. Jamie Pickett has decent striking. He's good size for the division, but it's not, I haven't seen it, right? At least not in UFC. And Dennis, he got 6 losses outside the UFC, or 8 losses or whatever. Looked like shit in his debut. I just, just for the sake of picking a fight, I don't have nothing written down here. I'm going to go Pickett because he's from Wilmington, North Carolina. It took everything in me and my podcast juice not to fall asleep breaking that fight down. Not falling asleep breaking that fight down because it's just God, okay, yeah, sorry. Let's move on. I'm gonna fall asleep on you guys. Let's just move on here. Let's move on here. Now we're fucking talking. Jailton Almeida minus 660 versus, here's another fucking name I gotta try to pronounce, Anton Turkalj. That's gotta be it. Anton Turkalj. So Anton Turkalj, big boy as well. I love Jailton Almeida. I am high on Jailton Almeida. And before we get to any underdog talk, I'm taking Jailton Almeida, okay? Slimeball candidate maybe, even though that number is absolutely tremendous. So, Anton's pretty good. He's a big kid. He's fought really good competition outside the UFC. This is not my mortal lock. Simply the fact that Anton is a decent guy. He's good on the ground. He can strike a little bit, likes to finish the fight on the ground. He's big. Jailton Almeida's popped up to heavyweight. He's went down to 205. He's a fucking big guy too. And Jailton Almeida, his main game, though, is he likes to take you down and get on top, submit you, pound you out. Anton is good on the ground. Not saying Jailton can't do that. He's good at tries. Double leg, a single leg is powerful as fuck. He's just dumped Parker Porter like he was nothing, like he was yesterday's trash. That's a load of a man. He can do that to Anton, but Anton is a decent guy. I've looked up some fights of him, and he's fought some decent competition. Last time out, 14-4 in the Contender Series, won a decision. Time for that, 5-1, spitting back first round 1, 6-0, 3-1, 4-2, 2-4, 0-1, 0-1. So once he got all these bums out of the way in the beginning of his career, where he finished all of them by strikes and then won by submission, then he started fighting somebody. Then, he lost to Alexander Gibson in a grappling competition, has a wealth of amateur experience. So this isn't going to be as much as a walk in the park as I would want it to be. Trust me, I would love to hammer Alton. I would love to sit here and tell you, this is my guy, and minus 660 doesn't scare me. It scares me. He could go out there and run through Anton. Absolutely, for sure. But I think this kid's got a little crack. So if you're looking for dog shots, purely dog shots, Jailton Almeida is getting a lot of hype. People love him like me. I've had conversations with Anik. Anik loves him. After that Parker Porter fight, what he did to Parker Porter, the sky's the limit for this kid. He wants to fight. He's staying active. I love all of it. But is it too much too soon? Not saying Anton's too much. He's basically a UFC newcomer. I know he fought in the Contender Series. But, it is still very early in Almeida, and minus 660 really kind of scares me off. It does. I'm going to pick him. I'm probably going to bet him somehow. I got to figure out. Obviously, there's props out there. TKO, submission, whatever I can do. Probably TKO. But yeah, I just, this fight scares me, boys. It scares me. It's a banger though, but it scares me. Another banger here. Hakeem Dalladu minus 225 versus Julian Rosa plus 190. Now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into the meat and taters. This fight's a banger. Hakeem Dalladu is a guy I've been high on for a while. He had a couple skids here and there in the UFC, but those skids, he's looked okay. I just feel like Hakeem Dalladu's biggest problem is he just needs to let it go. He just needs to go, right? He needs to believe in himself, and he's amped up. He's got cardio. He's taking on offenses, obviously getting pretty good, if not great, and good striking, crisp striking, good leg kicks, right? He's the total package. I just think a lot of it is a confidence. He's got a good record, right? It's not like he's 13-2-1. It's not like he's a bum, but the two losses I think could have been avoided if he really put it together and put it together sooner. It's a little bit of a slow starter, but his hands are lethal. Then you got Julian Rosa. This is kill or be killed. This dude goes out there and takes your heart, or he gets his taken. Julian Rosa has been put down before. He's been knocked out before, but he's also stood in there and taken shots. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a training thing, if he or the weight cut thing or what. There's sometimes where he looks fucking great and can take a shot, and other times Sung Choi puts him down with a left hook or whatever the fuck, and he's out, right? So the chin issue obviously is real. That's why he's at plus 190, but the kid's got some real skills as well. You get him on the ground, he's got good wrestling, he's got good cardio, he's tough, he's durable to an extent. He's got good submissions. That dart stroke that he wrapped up Charles Jourdain with was fucking brutal. Hakeem Dalladu is just a stout, strong dude. I don't think Rosa, who's kind of a tall, lankier guy, is going to get Dalladu down. I think he's going to get picked apart with some leg kicks. I think Dalladu's boxing is special. I think his striking is precise. I think his guard is good. Julian Rosa is going to need to get this wild to make it wild to win this fight. Clip him early, clip him late. He's going to need to clip him is what he's going to need to do. But I like Hakeem Dalladu in this fight. I'm actually pretty strong on it that we're going to go ahead and give him the mortal lock. God, that voice is fucking tough. I like Hakeem Dalladu. This is going to be a slime ball king at number 2. This is a good matchup for him. I think technically and speed, power, everything is going to be there for him. Julian Rosa can make this a wild, fun, crazy, bloodbath of a fight. And Hakeem Dalladu might be down for that, but that's not going to be his path to victory. Kick the legs out, touch the body, watch out for the big strikes of a Rosa. He keeps his chin up in the air a little bit. Look to counter here. It's okay if you don't lead. Look to counter with your hands because a Rosa is going to be there to hit. Watch out for the clinch. Rosa is very dangerous in the clinch. Rosa is probably going to mix things up and try to go for some takedowns. Hakeem Dalladu has proven in most of Evil fight, especially that he's pretty good at getting the fight off his back. And if he gets taken down, and most of Evil is a fucking stud. I don't see Julian Rosa being that kind of wrestler. So give me Hakeem Dalladu. It's a good fight. I like that fight. Feature prelim. And was that the nope? Here we go. Nope. Here we go. Main card. Johnny Walker plus 165 versus Ian Cutelaba minus 195. Couple big boys. So if I repeat myself, I apologize. I gave these picks out in the ink and flooring. None of my picks have changed, so you can end the video if you want. No. Yeah, this is a good banger. This is a fight where I feel like they should have fought before. It's weird. I feel like 205 is a little thin. These guys, and they're both kind of crazy. This is a fight that maybe should have popped up before. Johnny Walker's been saying some good things this week. Like he was treating his body bad, and he almost died or something. Like he had some sound bites this week there or whatever. I think he almost died because that weight cut is just too much for him. Hopefully after this fight, especially if he gets knocked out, someone needs to send him down and say, let's go up to heavyweight. I know the idea is like, well, if he's getting knocked out by 205ers, then heavyweight's going to knock him out. And that's a valid point. But, and I'm no doctor, believe it or not, even though I've told people I am. I think Johnny Walker's biggest issue is the weight cut. I think that's just zapping his body, zapping his energy. He's 6'6", and he's a big fucking guy. He's not 6'6" and skinny. He's big. You got to go to heavyweight. I don't know how old he is. If he's older than 31, he should be at heavyweight already. He's 30. Okay. So this is your final year at light heavyweight. Now, you're not going to make the title. You're coming off 2 losses. Thiago Santos, by the way, got signed to PFL. Congratulations, Thiago Santos. The smart move, right? Tail end of his career. Let me go try to win a milli, get the PFL some name recognition. Don't know if he will win a milli. I think he's looked kind of a shell of himself his last couple times out, but whatever. Back to this fight. Johnny Walker, obviously chin's been an issue. He's been knocked out before. He's been knocked around before. A lot of his knockouts, so he gets clipped and his legs go. And then he tries to stand up and it's like really funny. And he can't get that back. Kind of like the Corey Anderson fight. Ryan Spann didn't knock him out, but Ryan Spann caught him and he was doing that too. Jamal Hill slept him. Jamal Hill put him asleep. Bad. How is he going to come back from that? Then you got Ian Cutelaba. He's just a fucking wow, man. This dude's crazy. Trying to fix his cardio a little bit, trying to grapple more, has a Sambo background, is a good grappler. And I think that's where he excels. I think that's where he's going to win this fight. He can't stand up with Walker. I want Johnny to be this explosive fucking fighter that he was. I know he fought bums coming to the UFC, but I want that explosiveness back. I feel like he's just a little timid. And who can blame him when he's been knocked out as many times as he has? But I think this fight, you got to let it go. Because Cutelaba, and I'm not, say anything out of turn here, doesn't have the best defense. So if you're going to go, you're going first round. I think there's worth a poke. Johnny Walker by knockout round 1. I think that's worth a poke. But I'm playing it safe base here. I'm going to go Ian Cutelaba. I think he's going to win the decision. I'm going the Yanni the Greek method. I know everyone wants to shit on Yanni the Greek. The nicest guy in the world. Let's take a step back, okay? Nice guy, okay? Don't follow him, fade him, whatever. Nice guy. But I'm taking that method. A lot of people probably think this fight's going to be a banger. It's going to be over. Either Cutelaba will catch Walker or Walker will catch him. Like I said, a little poke. However, I think this is going to be over 1.5. If the line is set at over 1.5 or 1.5, it's if over 2.5. If the line is set over 2.5, I think you would throw some pause. Throw some pause in there because I think Cutelaba can finish it late and definitely finish like in the second round once Walker slows down and maybe just concedes to a couple takedowns. Cutelaba's ground and pound is fierce. Ask Devin Clark's teeth. But I do see a decision, actually. I think if he doesn't finish late, Cutelaba would be more than happy to drag this to a decision. Johnny Walker, got to a decision with Thiago Santos, Nikita Krylov. I think he's just happy sometimes when he doesn't get finished. Like, I didn't get finished. I did get knocked out, so it's good. You know, that's a terrible Johnny Walker voice. I apologize. There you go. Female fights. Macey Chazon, plus 155 versus Irene Aldana, minus 180. I kept this short and sweet on the Aiken Floyd podcast. I'm going to keep it short and sweet here. I think Aldana runs through her. And I hate to say that because I was a big and I am a big Macey Chazon fan. I think she was great off the Ultimate Fighter. I think she should be at 145. She's big. She's tall. I would like a real name recognition in that weight class. I think she could do a lot better at 145. I know she wants a size advantage or whatever, but 145 might be the place for her. I like Aldana here every which way. I think Aldana is smoother on the feet, better on the ground. Chazon does have some good wrestling. Her cardio is a banger in the past. And then she's also just proven to kind of break in there. I think Aldana with her striking, touch the body a little bit. If Macey gets her to the ground, play off your back. She has a couple submissions off her back, but then you got to get up. After, I'm the Michael Bisping school of thumb with that. If you try a couple, cool, get up. I don't see Macey being able to grapple all 3 rounds, and I don't think it's going to be that easy to take Aldana down. Macey's going to have to exchange with her on the feet. And even though Macey's tall and long and longer than Aldana, Aldana's pretty long for the division as well. And Aldana does have some smooth striking, and I think can get in there and bust Macey up. I like Aldana here. I'm not going to bet it, even though this could be a slime ball. Minus 180 is a good number for a parlay. I'm confident, but in mind that maybe I will bet it. Maybe I will put in a parlay. Fuck you, Brian. Maybe I am confident, huh? I just think Aldana's smooth in there, man. She's like she's smooth. I was gonna reference alcohol, but I don't. Oh God, I'm clicking all kinds of buttons now. All right, here we go. Kevin Holland, yo, big mouth. That's his name, by the way, nickname. Jeez, relax. Minus 200 versus D-Rod, plus 170. Great fight. This fight came together last minute. Catch weight 170 or 180? 180. Love the catch weight. D-Rod's not the smallest welterweight in the world, but Kevin Holland, I tweeted this out the last time he fought. He's 2-0 in the UFC at welterweight. I think he's special. People are like, hey, he's special till he runs into wrestlers. Sure, maybe, but he's trying to work on that. He's trying to fix that, right? He's shown some good ground game. He showed some good submissions. That's the thing about Kevin Holland. His wrestling might have been dog shit, but his ground game's not. He didn't get put out by these guys. He's only been submitted by one person. It was Brendan Allen, got his back, choked him out at 185. When he gets to the ground with Marvin Toure, Derek Brunson, like he's not getting put out. He's just getting there and stuck there, right? But he does have some good chokes. He's long. But I don't think this fight's going to be on the ground at all. I think they're going to stand up. I think they're going to play on the feet. I think D-Rod's not a wrestler, so taking this fight on short notice, I don't think he's going to want to come in there and fucking wrestle. That's not his game. He might mix it up a little bit because that's obviously Kevin Holland's weakness, but this could play on the feet. I think Rodriguez has great straight punches. I think his kicks are pretty good, but I think Kevin Holland's just dynamic on the feet. He's a sniper. His right hand, his left hand's great. His kicks are good. He's durable. He's tough in there. He's been in there with some big 185ers. Didn't get put out. The only time we saw him get hurt was by a headbutt in the Kyle Dawkins fight. He's been in there with some big power punchers and has held his own, has knocked him out. He's a skinny, but at 170, he looks ripped, in my opinion. At 180, we'll see. I'm sure he's still going to look ripped, but he's a skinny guy, a little undeceiving, but those guys can fucking crack. I had a buddy growing up, skinny, built like Kevin Holland. He could put down a fucking horse, right? He didn't love the fight, and he wasn't the best fighter in the world. I mean, he definitely got knocked around once or twice, but if he landed on you, I mean, he put down a horse. He's a string bean guy, So those guys just generate power, and I think Kevin Holland's like that. Plus the precision, the accuracy, in the flow state that he's in. I like Kevin Holland here. This was going to be my mortal lock initially, but I do think D-Rod has some value. I think there's some value in here. I think this is maybe going to go the over. Daniel Rodriguez, 16-2, never been finished before. I see Kevin Holland winning a decision, taking some shots, giving some shots. It's going to be a fun fight. They're going to be talking to each other, maybe hopefully friendly stuff. Should get the crowd going though. But again, when you bet the over, you got two guys coming on short notice. You got to worry about gas tanks. You got to worry about stuff like that. But I do think this is going to be a fun fight. I'm looking for this to be maybe fight of the night. I think maybe the next fight will be fight of the night. Look at these fucking guys. The Leech, G Lee G Ling. I can't say it. The Leech. Fuck it. Sorry, can't say her name. Tony Ferguson plus 255. The Leech minus 305. Again, another fight coming together. Short minute. Tony Ferguson, if you remember, last time out, fought, got knocked out pretty brutally with a front kick a couple months ago. Before that, he's on a horrible skid. People say he's washed, he's done, he's this. He's older. I get it. Taking this fight at short notice, up 170 with his new camp, with some new coaches. And I think they got the right opponent. I think the Leech is mean. I think his striking's really good. I think his power's underrated. I think he can crack. His chin's unbelievable. This is a steep hill for Tony for sure. They're not doing him any favors. But if he wants to compete at 170, which he has said multiple times he does, that's what he won the Ultimate Fighter on, then this is a great introduction to the weight class. An absolute fire introduction. And I'm glad the Leech stuck around in the States and took this fight. He said he'd been here since April, and he was here to be able to take this fight. You know, he just fought not too long ago, so that's pretty dope. As we get to the fight, listen, if it plays down the feet and they're on the feet, Tony's got the speed advantage, right? The Leech has got the power, Tony's got the speed. We've seen what Tony does. Tony's not like a one-punch knockout guy. There's that famous meme going around where all of Tony Ferguson's opponents, their faces are fucked up because he just hits dense. It's just a dense hit. The guy does obviously have knockout power. He can put you down, but he's not like a one-touch guy. The Leech has been proven to be a one-touch guy. Tony obviously used to have an iron granite chin, got touched, got split by Chandler. So that's obviously the biggest issue. Is the chin gone? Is his motivation gone? Well, he dyed his hair blonde like it used to be. Looks like someone pissed in his hair. It's not blonde. It's like gold. Maybe he did it on purpose. I think he probably just did it himself. It looks like someone pissed in his hair. But he seems motivated. He seems to be in good shape. I saw some pictures of him today with his shirt off. He's not the biggest rip guy, but you're not going to expect that, you know, him being at 170 and taking this fight on short notice. But the one thing Tony needs to do is wrestle. The Leech has been susceptible to getting the fight to the ground, getting submitted. Tony offensively has good jiu-jitsu, and I think that's what he needs to use here. So obviously you heard on the Anakin Florian, I'm taking the dog shot. I'm going with Tony here. You need more dogs, and we need dogs here. So I'm going with Tony. I am going to bet it, and I'm going to bet him by submission separately. I'm going to bet him straight up plus 255 because I like that number, and I'm going to bet the submission prop separately, not a same game parlay, because I think Tony can win by a decision as well. I would love to see a submission. I think what he needs to do is he needs to get wild in there. I think he needs to stay with himself, realize I can't brawl with this guy. Tony's got a great straight jab. He's got some decent kicks. Can't be in a firefight in there. And again, he's got the speed advantage. Kenny disagreed with me saying he doesn't think Tony can take the Leech down. And that's a fair criticism because we haven't really seen Tony wrestle that much. Usually Tony's flip-flopping and jumping for legs and rolling and cartwheeling and throwing sand at people and shit. But that's not the case. Here, I think he's going to wrestle. I think he's going to pull some singles. I think he's going to eventually pull guard. I think when he's on the ground, he's a problem for the Leech. I really, truly do. The Leech is going to have some size. He's a big guy for 170, strong. But I think Tony, if he just gets some certain positions here, and I know I'm really string theorying this because obviously the Leech can put him out in a minute, and that'd be a good bet. Leech first round KO. But I also like Tony by submission and the number. That's why I'm taking him. But create scrambles on the feet. You know, if the Leech swings wildly, take his back, jump the back, get crazy, get fucking Tony Ferguson, dude. You pissed in your hair. You can do this. So I like Tony Ferguson in this spot. I'm as confident as I can be on a dog shot here, but let's get to the main event. The meat and potatoes. Everyone is kind of here for this. What is people's reception of this? This is what I ask. You know, I've talked about this on Wednesday Takes. Is this something like people want it? Is this like their fight of the year? You know what I mean? I don't quite understand. I asked on MMA Takes or Wednesday Takes Twitter, I asked the question, what's the one fight you want to put together? I got a ton of responses, and no one said this. No one said either of these guys in a matchup. I don't think. I have to read the responses. That will be on next week's show. But it's kind of a weird fight. And gentleman came at me on Twitter and said, hey, you said on the Anakin Florian that Nate, because I said the perception is Nate's getting thrown to the dogs by the UFC, but Nate is a dog. The guy goes, no. Nate didn't ask for this fight. You know what I mean? He didn't ask for this fight. Then I pull up a tweet from May where he said, I asked to fight Chimaev. And then he was getting married. It's like, what the fuck? I want to fight in July with someone the best, blah, 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 blah. Nate, you know, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Delusion of grandeur. You guys ever heard that? There's this delusion in Nate's mind. I think Nate should get paid as much as he wants. I think he's a star. I think he was once a good fighter, and that's all he was good. Never going to be champion. Nick was always better. When Nick was fighting, no one kind of cared about Nate, if I'm being honest with you. You started caring about Nate after you beat Conor McGregor, and that's facts. His last 2 fights, he's been knocked around. George Masvidal knocked him around. When I would say, Kamaru Usman knocked Kamaru, my guy. Oh, he knocked out Masvidal. People be like, Masvidal's washed. He's a bum. These are the same guys, 209, tattooed on their back. Masvidal knocked this guy around and won some fake belt. And then Leon Edwards knocked this guy around except for one punch in the 5th round. And people chalk that as a W. So the delusion with not only his army, but within himself, that interview he did with Brett Okamoto where he's like, I didn't ask for this fight. I don't want this fight. Blah, 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 blah. You flip-flop on that topic 20 different times. He says he's the champion of the UFC.
Wrong.
He says that he's he's better than everyone.
Wrong.
He said he wanted to fight Francis Ngannou and then said he didn't want to fight it. And the people were like, hey, you got to know how to speak 209.
Wrong.
I'm a grown man, right? And I know I can't pronounce anything. But when another grown man talks and he talks in riddles, I can't understand it. And I refuse to understand it. Say what you mean. Say it with your chest. With that being said, this should be a fun fight. Kenny Florian, spoiler alert, picked Nate and laid out about a 3-minute breakdown of how Nate's going to do it. It was fucking awesome. Glorious. Go check that out, which I'm sure you already have. But I'm firmly on the other side. It's so easy to pick Chimaev. And I like easy, guys. I like easy. Of course, I'm picking Chimaev. How am I going to play this? I'm not. This is one of the few main events I think I'm not going to play because I don't know what. Chimaev by TKO, Chimaev by cut, Chimaev is not going to submit him. But what you got to, the only way to make money on this fight is if you get really into props and go, okay, Chimaev over 2.5 takedowns or whatever it is. Chimaev to win these minutes. Chimaev to win within these minutes or whatever. You really got to get in the weeds and kind of hit something to win money on this fight because the Chimaev minus 1150 is outrageous. The value, because Nate's Nate plus 750, then him to win by submissions even higher. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to throw money on Nate just because, but we've seen Nate before at 170. Leon Edwards is a big 170, and Leon Edwards tossed him around. Roy McDonald tossed him around. You know, Nate's not a 170-pound fighter. He's tall, but he's thin. He's not strong. Chimaev's big. Chimaev should be at 85. Chimaev's big and strong and younger than Nate. And let's not forget, Nate's 37. He's 15-11, right? And he thinks he's God's gift to MMA. He thinks he's this. And listen, I'm all for him leaving the UFC and making money with the Jake and Logan Paul fights. I hope his fight promotion takes off. He's doing boxing, MMA, and then jiu-jitsu, I think. I like that. We always need new competitors. Real Fighting Inc. or whatever he's called. I hope nothing but success for guys that, because how can you not be a fan of Nate Diaz of what he's done in the cage? The guy's bled in that cage. He's gave everything. He's been fighting since he's 18. He's gave everything to the sport. So you got to respect that. You have to. I know I do, and I thank him for all what he's done. But that's not mean I'm going to fucking pick him. That doesn't mean I disagree with a lot of what he's saying this week. And I think he's just getting filled up with a bunch of yes men around him that every time he says something, people think it's fucking poetic. And they're like, hell yeah, man. You know, it's just not. You know what I mean? It's just not. He's saying things that don't make any sense. He's going back on what he tweeted. He's going back on when he did an interview here. I don't know. Right? That's the story of this fight. But as competition, unless Chimaev completely gasses, I don't know how Nate wins. I think he loses everywhere. And Nate, jiu-jitsu's not what it is. I think Chimaev, everyone's like, well, Chimaev was scared to go with Burns. Gil Burns better at jiu-jitsu than Nate, period. You know, Nate's got a good triangle. He's got a good guillotine. You know, I think Chimaev's aware of that. I think Chimaev's going to want to stand up with him. Nate's a punching bag at times. And, you know, Chimaev can beat him up. But he's got to beat him up for 5 fucking rounds because God knows Nate's not going anywhere. My prediction on the Yannick Florian was 3rd round TKO by cuts. I think cuts are going to be a problem because Chimaev does hit hard. If he gets to the ground and throws some elbows, standing elbows in the clinch or whatever, that can fuck up Nate's eyes. Obviously, that's a big concern. That's what happened in the Masvidal fight. But, yeah, I don't know. This is in Vegas, so they usually, you know, the Masvidal fight was in New York, so New York commission was like, we got to stop this in Vegas. They let it go a little bit with the cuts, but, yeah, I mean, Chimaev. I wish I had something better here. I'm sorry I don't have Nate, but Kenny does, and Kenny's a G. So again, no slime ball. Stay tuned to the socials. Again, hit the comments about anything I said right or wrong, disagree with me, whatever. That's always fun. Also, if you think I should change my Instagram handle to Brian Peach MMA. All right, so clean sweep on the locks this week. I know we're going to do it. Motor lock, Hakeem. One more time, Motormouth. Hakeem Dalladu, Mortal Lock. Doglock, Chad Engheinger. Brutal name. And Johan Lanesi, send him home. That's a dog, send him home. Let's go. Let's go. I'm excited for this card. I'm glad they added some fights to it, but other than that, there's going to be a lot of things to talk about out this card. I'm excited for that. But obviously there's fights, there's money to be had. We're going to do it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're at like 8 something. We're like 160 away. We're less than 160, I think, away from kids crying now. I gotta go. Less than 160 away from fucking 1,000. And then you'll stop hearing me say subscribe. Need to get to 1K. Apple Podcast. Let's end the show, Brian. Let's go.